Whenever life starts to feel too heavy, I always find myself drawn to the mountains. These ancient places always give me a peace that I cannot find anywhere else. The first stop on my trip was the beautiful Glendalough, where Frederick and I spent time exploring the monastic city. Here we can see the sacred ruins of an early Christian monastic settlement that was founded by St. Kevin here in the 6th century. This has always been a sacred site and many people performed pilgrimages to this area. Unfortunately, Frederick was in a lot of pain that day, so after a solo hike where Frederick stayed back at the hotel, we had some food and then Frederick headed off home. So I just finished double checking my route and maps for tomorrow. I'm kind of nervous but also excited. I think I know where I'm going, so it should be fine. Now I'm just trying to relax. I brought cross stitch stuff with me to do because I knew I would have 2 evenings alone in hotel rooms and I'd probably be bored, so I made space in my rucksack to bring my cross stitch supplies. I'm going to stitch this ladybirds. Oh, I just love them so much, so I'm excited to do that. And I also brought this book, Agatha Christie Towards Zero. I honestly picked this one because the cover just looked like the end of summer to me. It says a good detective story begins with a murder, but the murder is the end. The story begins long before that, with all the causes and events converging towards a given spot, towards zero. So it sounds really good. I also have a cup of tea and some shortbread over here. As I said, I make room in my rucksack for the essentials, and I'm just watching some detective show on the TV. So yeah, this is what I'm doing the evening before my big hike. I'm missing Frederick and Binksy a lot, but I am really looking forward to tomorrow. Good morning everyone. I'm just packing my bag now, so I'm going to quickly show you what I brought. I'm going to try my best to pack the heaviest things in the bottom. So first to go in are my makeup brushes and my toiletry bag, flip-flops for the pool in the next hotel, my book and cross stitch, my small backpack, my clothes and pajamas. This bag has all my clean underwear and socks. And then this bag is for all my dirty clothes. I also brought a packed lunch for today, my glasses, some medication I need, filming equipment. In the side here I'm going to have a first aid kit, plus some cream and insect repellent, plus an extra little bag of emergency supplies like blister patches, bandages, and I also brought torches and reflectors in case I get caught outside in the dark. I have 2 water bottles in here. Then I have this fleece in case I get cold and this hat in case it's really sunny, my maps and all my directions, and then all of my snacks. My phone charger, then I've got my coat and hiking boots, and my bum bag which will have the maps and directions I need, plus my camera and some other navigation equipment. And then finally I have my tripod to help me film. So that's everything. I think I did an okay job at just keeping it to the essentials. We'll see how I get on. Okay, here we go. Now for the hardest part, which is finding the start of the trail. I'm not 100% sure where the start of the trail is. Once I find that, it should be okay. I see another sign up here. I think it might say Wicklow Way. Oh yay, here it is. Okay, that's the hardest part of the day done. Jesus, it's very steep. There's a lot of trees down here for some reason. I mean, like, cut down. I really hope they're not blocking the paths. Oh, thank God, I found a marker. I got a little bit confused in the forest. I was not sure which way to go, but found my way out. Woo! That was a very, very steep climb up to the top of the mountains, but the view is amazing. There's these stile things. They're like little wooden fences that you have to climb over sometimes. And my rucksack is so heavy. I was trying to throw that over first and it nearly killed me. Still a bit more of a climb to go, but I made it. My hike was taking me from Glendalough to Powerscourt. That's over 30 kilometers, over 10 hours of hiking. It was an enjoyable hike, but also a long and difficult one with extremely blustery conditions on top of the mountains. This was especially scary when going across the railway sleepers. You're supposed to walk on these to protect the bogland, but honestly, it was hard to stay on them. I kept getting blown off. There were so many sheep all over the mountains. They were so cute. I loved them. This is blocking my path. They're all scattering because they're afraid of me. I'm sorry, guys. Some of them have horns. I hope they don't headbutt me. Hey, I'm just passing through. Thank you. But as cute as the sheep were by this point in the hike, I was getting so tired. I just wanted to reach the end. I had no energy left. I had run out of water as well. I was ready for it to be done, but I still had to climb around this one last mountain. It's called Mount Juice, but I like to call it Mount Douche. This part of the hike felt like it was never going to end, and a couple of times I sat in sheep poop. Then I reached this final ascent. I was at Powerscourt waterfall. I got to walk around and see that on my descent down. The descent down was very long, but at least it was a descent. And then I came out through the woods, but I still had another 4 kilometers to walk to my hotel. I am literally crying that I'm here. I'm so freaking tired. It's really, really dark in here, so I put a lamp behind the camera, and I don't know if that's helping or making it worse. Yesterday was tough. That is the longest hike I've ever done. I have done that hike once before, but when I did it last time, I did that section I did over 1.5 days. Combining it all into one day was a lot. I was fine up until around 1 p.m. when I stopped for lunch, and then I started to feel like I'm really tired and my rucksack is really heavy, and yeah, I was seriously doubting if I could complete it, but I did. Somehow I did, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm in a lot of pain today. My shoulders in particular are really, really sore from carrying the rucksack, and I also have 2 blisters, one under each of my big toes. I presume that's from when I was walking down, particularly at the end, a lot of the Rocky Mountains, and you know, you're walking down and all the rocks are kind of shifting under your feet, and I guess that kind of big toe part of my foot was just rubbing against my boots. So yeah, I have 2 massive blisters. I'll have to wrap those up before I go out today. It's such a nice hotel. It's actually a wellness farm and they have alpacas, so I will try and film some of the alpacas. I'm very excited to meet them and pet them. And a funny story that shows just my luck. The hotel is lovely, everything's lovely, but when I went straight to have something to eat and drink a ton of water and everything as soon as I arrived, and then I was dying to have a shower. I was covered in obviously sweat, and I was covered in bug spray that I had sprayed myself with from head to toe. I smelled, and yeah, I like really, really needed a shower. Got into the shower, turned it on, and there was no hot water. I tried everything, you know, you kind of fiddle with the knobs. Tried everything, no hot water. So I went to reception and said, there's no hot water in my room. Anyway, they were super lovely about it. But what turned out to have happened is that the boiler that heats the water for just my room decided to malfunction and wasn't working properly. So they were very apologetic, and they said that they would have to get someone out to look at the boiler and everything, and they asked me if I wanted to switch rooms or if I wanted to just go and shower in the spa showers. And honestly, I didn't want to cause a fuss, so I was like, look, the spa showers are absolutely fine. I just really wanted a shower. I didn't particularly care where the shower was, and you know what, the spa shower was lovely. So anyway, they let me in there. It was lovely, but yeah, just my luck. The one day I probably needed the shower most. So yeah, really, really hard day, but I'm also really, really proud of myself that I did it and that I pushed through. Even when I felt like I couldn't do it, I still kept going and I did it. And I was wearing my Fitbit for it, so let's see. So I left Glendalough at just before 9 a.m. and I arrived at the Powerscourt Springs Health Farm at about 7:15. So in and around 10.5 hours the journey took me. I covered 34.5 kilometers and I took 52,338 steps. That's insane. So yeah, that is the hardest thing I've ever done, I think. Today is going to be a little bit more chill, actually a lot more chill than that. I'm actually meeting one of my friends today. Enniskerry Village is very, very close to where I'm staying. So in a little bit, I'm gonna go and meet her in Enniskerry Village. Then we're going to go and see the Powerscourt Gardens and get a proper up close look at the Powerscourt waterfall that I kind of walked past from a distance yesterday, so I'm very excited about that. And then when we've done that, we're going to just spend the rest of the day chilling. There's a pool and sauna here that's free to use, so we're definitely going to use that. And as I said, we're also going to go see and pet the alpacas. So yeah, I better go and start getting my bag ready and everything to head off. We set off early the next morning to do the final day of hiking. This hike was going to take us from Powerscourt to Marley Park in Dublin, about 25 kilometres of hiking. Unfortunately, during our hike, my friend really hurt her foot. That first aid kit I brought came in handy, so we decided it was best to finish off our hike at the halfway point. We had planned to stop at Johnnie Fox's pub and then continue on for the second half of the hike, but instead we just decided to call it a day at the pub and head home from there. Johnnie Fox's is one of the oldest pubs in Ireland, and it also claims to be the highest pub in the country, although that claim is disputed. But it is a huge tourist attraction. We could barely get a seat, but I had never been before, my friend had never been before, so I guess it was nice to finally see this little tourist attraction. And it was a pretty nice way to end this little adventure weekend.